I still get those bad anxiety days. Productivity is not going to be contemplate everything that's around you, because sometimes when you have anxiety, I feel so much better afterwards. Avoid anything that will make you feel sluggish on what's going on here. Reading a book, it could be heart pumping and your blood flowing inside you is good for you. I'm feeling very anxious today. As someone who has had to deal with an anxiety disorder for close to 15 years, I still get those bad anxiety days when I feel like I cannot function properly, or it really affects who I am, my personality, my motivation, and my productivity. So I thought I would do a video on how I deal with it, how I deal with a high anxiety day, what I do, simple tips. Hi, I'm Gabby. I hope you're doing well. I'm here with some tea because I'm freezing, and I have a list of tips on how to deal with a bad anxiety day. I thought about it because I would say last week I felt really anxious, and I didn't really have a reason for it, which is even more annoying. I do struggle with an anxiety disorder, so it does happen to me from time to time, and sometimes there's a reason behind it and others there's not. So I thought today I would share them with you. The first one that really helps whenever I get up in the morning and I start feeling very stressed is I decide to take it slow that day. I decide that productivity is not going to be at the forefront of my mind. Even when I was working a 9 to 5 and I would wake up in the morning and I could tell that my anxiety was going to be very difficult to deal with that day, I just decided to take it slow. I would decide to make sure to take my time doing things. And that would mean that I would make sure that my to-do list would consist of things that were a necessity to do that day or top priority, but I would not add onto my plate. Also, I would decide to take more me time for me, and if you know that today is going to be a bit of a difficult day, take it slow. Just decide everything that I will do. I will take my time doing it, or I will shorten my to-do list. The other tip I would have for you is to go outside. Sometimes being trapped in one room is pretty difficult. So if you can go for a walk during lunchtime, or if you have a little bit of a break, just go outside and breathe and just contemplate everything that's around you, because sometimes when you have anxiety, you can really get stuck in your head, and it has this feeling of making you feel stuck and making you feel like there's no way around your anxiety. When you are outside, you have to be confronted with exterior things. Even if it's with your coffee in the morning before going into work, just stay outside and breathe and just try to be present with everything surrounding you. An even better way would be for you to go for a walk and listen to music or podcast, or if you're okay with it, just be present in your walk and just get your body moving, get air into your brain and your body, and just move along. And don't really put any pressure on you to walk quickly or to go somewhere specific. Just walk. If it helps you to go somewhere specific, go ahead. It's just take the pressure off the walk and just enjoy being outside, moving your body. And talking about moving your body, for me personally, I've been finding that when I'm anxious, I need to move my body in some type of way. If for you it's better to do low intensity workouts, I would advise on going for a walk. Like I said, it's always helpful. Or you can do some light body work, which would be doing some yoga or doing some light Pilates. I find that low intensity workouts can be very good for you when you're feeling anxious, because it forces you to focus on your breath. And it's low impact movement, which means that you're still moving your body and your muscles and kind of getting everything flowing inside, but also here. Because you have to concentrate on your breathing, you have to focus on what you're doing. And if for you, you need a high intensity workout, go for it. I know that for me, swimming does wonders to my mental health. I feel so much better afterwards. And for some others, it will be to go for a run or to go lift some weights. Anything that gets your heart pumping and your blood flowing inside you is good for you. Very personal. If you don't feel like working out, if you feel anxious at the very thought of going outside, do some breath work. So that can be anything from doing a meditation that focuses on your breathing, or just taking time to focus on your breathing, because you can tell that you are not breathing properly, you're breathing a bit too fast. You can also stretch. I stretch every single morning, and when I wake up feeling anxious, or I wake up very quickly and I start feeling anxious, whenever I do some stretching, it really helps, because same as working out, your breath has to be very rhythmic, and it really helps with your mind. It helps for you to stretch, and it helps for you to feel less anxious. My next tip would be to eat nourishing food. Avoid anything that will make you feel sluggish, because I know that when I'm anxious, I'm also very tired because my mind and my body are overworking. So whenever I'm feeling that way, I avoid eating anything too heavy or anything that I know makes me feel a bit tired and sluggish. Just try to eat more nourishing food, but do eat something that you enjoy eating. First of all, eating should be a pleasure and not something that you have to do, or eat something that you have to do for specific reasons. So try to find a food that will make you feel happy. Like for example, when I was working my 9 to 5 with my colleague, whenever we would feel a bit down, a bit sad, a bit overworked, a bit anxious, we would order sushi, because sushi is delicious, but it's also still just some rice and some protein and a little bit of vegetable, and it's balanced. It makes you feel good. It's not too heavy, it's not too difficult for your body to digest. So I would say eat something that makes you feel good but also nourishes your body. So it could be a soup with a little bit of bread, a little bit of protein, or it could be a ramen bowl, very nourishing food. Just not anything too heavy, just so that it doesn't add on to the already feeling of heaviness and sluggishness. Another tip that works wonders most of the time is to try to focus on something else. So it can be reading a book, it could be watching a documentary, it could be listening to a podcast, anything that takes your mind off of feeling anxious. Try to find something that really interests you or really makes you feel good or distracts you. It really will help you to get out of your head, because whenever you're anxious, you're focusing a bit too much on what's going on here, and you should focus on anything outside of that. So listening to a podcast always helps me, but sometimes just watching a good movie or a documentary or your favorite TV show can really be incredible for you and helps to soothe you as well. If you wake up feeling anxious, like maybe try to watch an episode of your favorite TV show whilst you're having breakfast, or whilst you're commuting. Listen to a podcast or listen to your favorite playlist. If you're at work, just try to take a few minutes to listen to some music or a bit of a podcast. You know, like throughout the day, try to find ways to focus on something else and something that brings joy to you. Another thing that I've been doing for maybe nearly a year actually is sound therapy. I know how it sounds, but it can really do wonders for you. I've been listening to ASMR videos for, like I said, probably about a year. I came across a video on YouTube one day. I don't really know how, and it was the first time I discovered ASMR, and ever since it's been something that has been so helpful for me. That's actually what I listen to in the morning when I'm stretching, and oftentimes that's what I'm listening to in the evening before just shutting off my laptop and going to read. I just find it very helpful and soothing, and it really helps me to relax. So that could be something interesting for you, just to listen to some sounds or some music that's very calming, so like some piano music or some sounds that you find really helpful, like the rain or the sound of a forest or something like that. You can find so many things on YouTube. Also, I have an app, I'll put the name down below. I think it was called Relaxing Sounds. I'm not sure how it's called now. I'll try to find it for you, but you can select the sounds that you want to listen to, and it's incredible. That's often what I put on when I'm in the bath. I like to read in the bath, and I also like to have a sound outside just so that I don't listen to the sounds of the road or what my boyfriend's watching on TV or anything like that. And it's really helpful for me. It can also be to listen to a meditation or to listen to a video that's very calming to you. Like, sound can really help you get out of your head but also calm your mind. Another super easy thing to do is to do something that you love. Whenever I'm anxious, I usually feel very unmotivated. I struggle to be productive because I'm so in my head. So I like to stop and just do something that I enjoy doing. I love reading, so reading a book really helps me. It also helps me to focus on something else, but it's really something that I find very relaxing for me. I know that for some people it can be to draw or to paint or to dance, anything that you enjoy doing, like cooking, baking, anything like that. Try to take some time throughout your day to do that. Just focus on something positive and something that brings you joy any day, and on a bad day, that's an even better thing to do for yourself. Now on to something that can be a bit more challenging for you whenever you're anxious, but that can be very helpful, would be to journal or to go to therapy or to talk it out with someone. I know that sometimes when I'm anxious, I don't want to think about it, which is not always very helpful, but I find it so difficult to be in that moment and just to exist because so much is going on in my mind and in my body that I'm trying as much as I can to not think about it, to get out of that situation. Sometimes it's not productive because if you have an anxiety disorder like I do, there's sometimes no reason for you to feel that way. It's just a chemical imbalance in your brain that's causing the anxiety. But other times, your anxiety will be the consequence of a real situation, of something that's happened. And it could be very helpful for you to kind of try to dig into your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions and try to understand what's going on. So journaling about it is a very good way to get everything out of your head and on paper and help you really understand what's going on. And sometimes I just take my journal and I start writing and I don't really think about it, and I just write, and after a few minutes I'm like, oh, okay, so that's why I'm feeling that way. This has happened that has triggered this feeling that usually causes my anxiety to flare up. And it's really helpful also to do that because it helps you understand that there can be a cause to that feeling, but also that there's something that you can do about it. And so anything like journaling, therapy, if you can afford it, or just talking with a friend or a family member that you trust and just be like, I'm feeling very anxious today, and just like having normal conversation with them and explore that feeling can be very beneficial for you because one, it helps you understand the cause of it. It helps you pinpoint exactly what happened or why that feeling came up for you and why it triggered your anxiety, and work on that. And therefore you can act upon it and try your best to understand it and work through it so that next time that feeling or that situation comes up, you will have the tools to make sure that your anxiety is not triggered by it. But also figuring out exactly what's going on and why you feel anxious will really help you to tackle this anxious thought or feeling or state. Because if something happened and you're feeling anxious, now you know, okay, this person said that to me, it triggered something in me, and that's why I'm feeling super anxious. Or this is going to happen and I feel very anxious about it. Okay, it will help you to find a solution to this. So if it's a situation coming up, it can help you to kind of work through it and get help and just be like, okay, so this is going to happen. What can I do to make sure that I'm working on it so I don't feel that anxious? Or if it's a situation that happened or a feeling that came up about something, you can be like, okay, but why, if someone says that to me, or this, I'm in this situation, I feel like this, and why does it make me feel anxious? You will be able in the future to understand a bit more your feelings and work around it. Whenever those days happen, just remember that it won't last forever. It's okay to feel like that. It's actually quite normal if you have something stressful happening in your life, if you have an anxiety disorder. You know, like, life happens and it's okay to have bad days and to struggle. It actually teaches you a lot. Just remember, it won't last. I'll probably feel better tomorrow. Even if I don't, there will be a day when I will feel better, and just focus on that. Also focus on being kind to yourself, giving yourself some grace. This too shall pass. It's okay if I feel that way. It's okay if today is going to be a slower day, a less productive day. My worth is not defined by whether I'm productive, whether I achieve a lot today. Just being here is enough, and I'm working on myself. I'm taking care of myself, and that's okay, and that's important. I will be putting a lot of links in the description bar, that like meditations you can listen to, or ASMR artists that I love, or just ideas of like movies and TV shows that you can watch whenever you're anxious that make you feel good. A lot of links will be down below, so do check them out if you're looking for something like an idea or anything. So I hope this was helpful for you, and I'm very sorry that you have to deal with this. I hope it helped, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.